Shangguan Wan'er, Tang Dynasty female minister. In the Yiding, a forgotten corner of the palace, once powerful women spend their twilight years in confinement due to their crimes. Isolated from the world, their only connection to life beyond is the sparse sunlight, filtering through the wooden cages, stark against the endless gray skies. Do you know who sits on the throne? Who ordered the bloodbath of our Shangguan family? The ruthless woman who exiled us to this desolate place. In the dim room, young Shangguan Wan'er speaks to a battle-hardened former palace maid. Her gaze is calm, like still water, yet burning with an unyielding fire. Go, find a way to get close to her. Escape this Yiding, filled with despair and indifference. You are not meant to be a prisoner here, but a descendant standing at the pinnacle of history. Use your intelligence and wit to win that woman's trust, and make her pay for the downfall of the Shangguan family. Mother, I already have a plan. My humble origins are actually my advantage. Wu Zetian always likes to promote those from lowly backgrounds. I just need to wait for the right moment, and if that fails, there is also Crown Prince Li Hong, who has offered his hand to help. Once Wu Zetian ascended the throne, she appointed Shangguan Wan'er as Zhao Rong, a position with no official duties, but responsible for drafting imperial decrees and participating in state affairs, thus becoming a person of significant influence in the palace. With her wisdom, she trapped her enemies and promoted literature, poetry, enhancing the cultural atmosphere of the court. She eliminated political rivals for Wu Zetian, unaware that her actions laid the foundation for Li Longji's prosperous Kaiyuan era. Initially, the unprincipled empress, the fallen and shameless Zhao Rong. When Wu Zetian suddenly appeared, Emperor Lizi was terrified and blamed everything on Shangguan Yi. The loyal and upright Zitai Shilang, despite his noble position, bravely faced execution. Yet it wasn't enough to spare the Shangguan family from disaster. Following the beheading of her son Tingji, Shangguan Wan'er's wife, Zheng, and young daughter were demoted to Yiding, becoming the lowest-ranked palace slaves. After Wu Zetian became empress, Shangguan Wan'er was appointed as Zhao Rong. Although she held no real power, she secretly controlled the imperial decrees and participated in state affairs. This position during the empress's reign seemed nominal, but Wu Zetian's favor and affection for her were no less than that of male emperors for their consorts. Young, beautiful, and talented, Zhao Shangguan Wan'er was ostensibly an ally in managing state affairs for the empress. But in reality, she was a silent strategist for the most powerful woman in the world. She craftily imprisoned people, fostered a culture of literature and poetry, and eliminated Wu Zetian's political enemies. Never realizing her actions also helped Li Longji lay the groundwork for the Kaiyuan era. Initially, she almost followed her father's fate of execution for disobedience, but at the crucial moment, she was spared by Wu Zetian. The empress harbored both hatred and admiration for her cunning intelligence, and a scar on her face was all it took to quell Wu Zetian's rage. Her promiscuity in the palace court caused a stir, tainting her once pristine reputation with a stain deeper than Yiding's. Her cunning and strategic depth might shock historians more than anything else. Without her, The contented empress would never have poisoned her own son or decisively dethroned a crown prince. Wu Zetian's reign defined the glorious Tang Dynasty and the era of female power, but Shangguan Wan'er's arrival stirred the lives of the Li and Wu clans, and the undercurrents of the harem. Her rebirth began in Yiding. Her glory intertwined with Wu Zetian's fate. Her blood and death poured into the grandeur of the imperial palace, climbed from the lowest rank to a position second only to one. Future generations may praise or despise Wu Zetian's deeds. A woman immersed in the center of political power, brilliant and talented. A traitor to her family, fully surrendered to her archenemy. But outsiders will never know that this seemingly nominal consort of Wu Zetian, in fact, shared her nights with the Empress, the very woman who decimated her family. Her relationship with Wu Zetian was a complex web of hatred and admiration. At 14, in the imperial court, the Empress' brilliance overshadowed the weak emperor. Chosen to compose poetry at a banquet, her verses not only altered her fate, but also won Wu Zetian's admiration and a smile that dissolved all grudges and foretold her fate for the next 2 decades. Her grandfather and father were just vague memories. Shangguan Wan'er learned early on that in the torrent of politics, any obstacle must be swept away. As for personal feelings towards Shangguan Yi and Tingji, she thanked them for their sacrifices, which created a woman who controlled the world, standing at its summit.